Hey everyone, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Gary.
Hey, so today we have something I think pretty interesting. If you look back at one of our previous podcasts, we talked about Gary's idea of the United Democratic Nations. And Gary has officially, and coding with Claude Code to build the site. And Gary is officially announcing the site's going to be live. So tell us about it, Gary.
Yeah, no, it pretty much is live at this point. I really just kind of finished all those many iterations with Claude. And one thing I did too a lot is I would take things that looked real nice, at least Claude thought they looked nice, and I'd feed it into Gemini to get another opinion. And sure enough, quite often I'd get another opinion and they were good ideas. And I would show those to Claude and Claude would say, yeah, those are good ideas.
Oh,
And
okay. So
yeah, kind of
it didn't
impressive.
argue.
No, I didn't really argue it. I mean, you could say that's a bad thing too, but it seemed like it legitimately analyzed the things that the other AI put forth and said, yeah, that's a good move. It's explain why even. So then I incorporate those little subtle changes in, mostly at this point, little wording changes and stuff. So yeah, so the website is essentially live. Now, whether it goes anywhere, that's a whole nother story, of course. But at least now it's completely functioning and people can literally go to it, United Democratic Nations.org, and you can see it yourself.
Yeah, we'll put
And
a link in the description.
yeah,
So can
and
you show it to us?
yeah, okay. So let me do that. So share. Let's see, is this it? Try. Yeah, I guess share this. Okay. So this is the website. Can you see that?
Mhm.
Yeah. So it has a little introduction, explains what it's trying to do here. And
Mhm.
then the grid that it is ultimately all about is down below here. Now, this is completely built off test data. So there's nothing live about it, but you can change it. I want to see the previous year, whatever you want. And uh, so, yeah, it works. So you can click on the vote count and then actually gives you a breakdown. So that's kind of nice. So that's the first page, and then there's a page that talks about what it's what's required of you to be a member, and you can see who the members are. I can say who's the member of this country, and it shows who they are. And of course, all the names right now are test data. So at this point, I need real people to include in the project. I have a friend in Canada and some in the UK. So I'm sure I'll get a few names of folks in here to try it out and play with it. And, they actually go into the real thing and say, well, I'm logged in as myself now. If I log out and you're on this member page, uh, you can pick your country, let's say the United States, and then I'm not sure. Hold on. Let's see
Oh,
here.
apply for membership there at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you can, let me scroll this screen down a little bit here. Uh, so it shows who's membership and you can say apply for membership.
Mhm.
And then you fill out the form and this all just works and it will send it to me. I look at it, and then I have a separate place where I can go into the website as an administrator and approve members. And that's how we get it all rolling. Obviously, at first it's just going to be friends and people I know, and that's not exactly, this person is not really representative of Canada, but that's how you start. So if it looks like a interesting idea and I can get people who actually do have legitimate representation in Canada, like a mayor or somebody
Mhm.
to to submit, an application, then they get to replace the current guy I have, and so on. And the hope is that at some point, if it gets enough traction, that governments will say, "Well, let's at least control our presence on the website."
Mhm.
So we'll submit our own application, and then the president or his team are the ones who keep up the the voting. And then the actual voting site itself, it looks like this. And actually, I need to log on maybe as a person to show you that. Let's see. No, I don't have one handy at the moment, but it does bring up sort of that same list, and you go through and vote yes or no on each country. There's a FAQ which tries to answer all the
Mhm.
obvious questions people are going to have, and then finally just a short little about saying, "Here's what I made," basically. So, so
So
this is
so the
right.
data, this page is all
Mhm.
fictitious right now. I mean, the countries are
Yeah,
real.
it even says that, and I
Current
have
test data.
everything's built in. I have all buttons to delete all the test data.
Mhm,
At first, I'm going to leave it in there so people can play around, and
mhm.
it doesn't matter what they break or change. But then at some point, I'll hit a button and it'll delete all the test data, not the new accounts, but just the test data, so we can start trying to do it for real.
So so at some point you'll have enough people that you will call for the first vote, right?
Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
mean, the theory is that every year at the end of the year, people have to make sure they get their votes in so
Mhm.
that they indicate what they want, and then at that midnight, essentially of the to the new year, we take those votes and make that the official vote for that year, and then we're essentially starting a new year.
Now, you told me that Gemini suggested a definite limit on your involvement.
Um, yeah, it's kind of interesting. I'm obviously the administrator to the website, and one of the tasks at the very start is to simply approve membership. Say,
Mhm.
yeah, I look, he really is in Canada, and of course, right now that's the only criteria. But going forward, he really is somebody who's elected there as a mayor or whatever. So that will be my job to make that call. But obviously, I can't really be a part of the real thing going forward. You can't have somebody making choices like that. So those decisions really have to go to the members at some point to vote on whether a person is proved as being a more representative member. But for now, I'm doing the job. And what AI said to me is, you're leaving that too open ended with
Mm,
no time frame for switching over. So then it kind of made me think, well, that's true. So now the wording is that once there's 50 members and they've succeeded in doing a vote at the end of the year, that would be the cutoff point where I'm going to say, then I have to hand that task over to the members, you
mm,
know,
okay.
but right now, I just want them to focus on the actual voting of countries, and I'm not trying to overwhelm them with also side tasks to do. So
So your goal in the end is to turn this over to the group, to the United Democratic
yeah,
Nations
I'm
group.
trying to make it a self growing thing,
Mhm.
basically. Absolutely.
Cool. Um, yeah, that's really good. So we'll put a link and people, yeah, if you are from another country or even the US, apply. You may be the representative.
Yeah. So
Great. So I know you have multiple activist ideas really to improve the world, save the world in some cases, like we talked about climate change on this podcast, your
right.
personal transportation vehicle. And you told me that once you built this website with Claude, you're going ahead and you're going to work on some of those other sites.
Well, yeah, the really fun project I've had is this personal rapid transit is a type of a futuristic transportation idea that I think still has a real strong place in our world going forward. And it's hard to express that idea. It's not something you can explain in words so much, but visually the time has come. I
Mhm,
mean, now with AI, you can just see the stunning stuff you can create with it.
mhm,
So now I'm going to have AI create these scenes. So they're not, the cities themselves aren't modern. It's the same existing buildings, same people walking on the streets and stuff. The difference is that this new transportation system is built on top of the existing roads. So
mhm.
that's going to be a really fun project to work on next.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean, we always talk about, there's always a good and bad, and people use AI for misinformation and so forth.
Yeah.
But this is a case where, first of all, you're not going to try to fool anybody into thinking
Yeah.
this is not AI. But it, that's one of the things I really like with AI, where it allows you to see something or visualize something, your project, or even a lot of the historical AI videos I
Mm.
see out there. There's some really good uses for it.
Yeah. No, I'm very excited about that. So,
Yeah, we'll be back hopefully soon with a podcast about that with some
mm,
cool
yeah, I
cool
know we talk
videos.
about other issues, but I'll occasionally work these things in just to show you what I've come up with
Mhm,
because it's just kind of a fun experience. So maybe you have your own idea that you want to
mhm.
illustrate. So we're kind of going down that path just to learn ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about with the project or
Not really. I
sign
mean,
off for
take a
now?
look at it.
Mm,
The UnitedDemocraticNations.org,
mhm.
long URL, but take a look at it and maybe you want to participate.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. See everyone later.